Welcome to Texas Truck Channel. I'm Craig, and behind me I've got the Overlanding Unicorn. And oh, speaking of Overland, this thing is dirty. Good thing this episode is brought to you by Shine Armor Graphene Ceramic Spray. Spray the towel first, wipe your spot, give it 1 to 2 minutes, and we'll wipe it back off and clean it off. But before we do that, let's talk about what this is. This is the J150 GX 460 behind me. That's the second generation GX. That's right, it's only the second generation, and this thing's been out since 2009. It's tried and true. And that's basically it. This is the black line edition, which I think makes it look just right. Gives you some special wheels, fixes the taillights too. Instead of that weird clear Euro lens, it's this black Euro lens, which makes it look like a normal taillight is really what it does. And other than that, it looks like a GX has looked like for a long time. With that, let's get on to the interior, but before I do that, ooh, nice. All right, Brian.
2009 called, they want their interior back. 2022 called back and said, we're keeping it. You know what, that's fine with me. Let's start with the complaints and get those handled right away. The seats are, well, they're climate controlled, which is awesome. The bad news is they don't flow air very well because they cup you so well. So the ventilated portion isn't brilliant, but it is there. The gauge cluster is exactly from the 4Runner with different bezels around it. And that's where the complaints end. I want to pick up with the good stuff. The center stack is new. You have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and it works. It works great every time. It's been flawless. And the build quality in general is really, really good. Usually on the 4Runner that we've reviewed several times, you'll touch things like the headliner, and you'll see it flex and move. None of that is happening here. There's no creaks, there's no rattles. The layout is really, really functional. And we find ourselves, as we spend more time in it, just loving it. There's something in the sweet spot that works. We have Craig and I are different heights, and I fit perfectly in here, even with a sunroof. I have no complaints, and that is usually a problem, i.e. the Tacoma, not a problem here. So, all that out of the way, yes, it's not the newest interior, but it does feel fresh, and we love it a lot. So, let's jump to the shop and see what the mechanics have to say about this thing.
Welcome to the under the hood portion of the GX 460. And behind me I've got the venerable and legendary 4.6 liter V8, good for 304 horsepower at 5,500 RPM and 324 pound-feet of torque at 3,400 RPM. Now, that also gets you 15 city, 19 highway. We saw real world 17 miles per gallon driving around, doing all kinds of different things, dirt roads, highway, and kind of testing some of the stuff and the right pedal a lot. So it is what it is. It's paired to an Eisen in-house developed unit 6-speed, which we like much better than the 5-speed that's in the 4Runner, and that's good to tow for 6,500 pounds. So this sucker is a truck, and it can do some truck things. Let's talk about the 1UR FE. This is based on the 1UR FSE, originally found on the LS 460. So this is really, at the bones of it, a car engine, which some people don't like this. Some of the purists really like the 2UZ FE that was in the GX 470 that this replaces, because they thought it was more trucky, had a cast iron block, and this sucker's all aluminum. I'm here to tell you that whatever, this thing's got a timing chain and not a timing belt that you got to change out every 60 to 80,000 miles. Forget that. So thank you for putting this in there, and this does truck work just fine. So with that, let's get under this thing and see what that KDSS is all about and see what Brian has to say about that.
All right, boys and girls, you know what time it is? Bring in the rubber. That's right. This thing's running on 18-inch wheels, and it's part of the black package this thing has. They look really good, actually, especially when you pair it with the roof bar this thing has. But anyways, these are 265 60 18 Bridgestone Dueler HTs, which means they're meant for the highway terrain. They're not mud trains or all terrains. Now, we have put it on the hill, and you will see here shortly. Is it gonna make it? How that goes. But on the highway, they're really quiet. And in the dirt, they do enough. And for something of this stature, it needs to be quiet before it is capable. That's really what this market is. Now, what makes the GX 460 so special? It's the KDSS. And what that means is blah, 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 hydraulic sway bars. And what that means is when the vehicle is level, on an even terrain and a corner is not lifting, hydraulically, there is actually right here, this damper coming down to the strut actually will loosen when you're on low speeds and a wheel gets lifted more than another. It's not electronically controlled, it's all through hydraulics. It's actually really nifty and quite reliable. There's no sensor to go wrong, it just works. So what that means is when you have a situation where you're rock crawling, you need a lot of articulation in the suspension, that will go limp and it'll allow the sway bar to become loose. and it lets the vehicle flex and do everything it needs to do. When you get back on the highway and every corner is level, it now is stiff. That's a simple way to put it. Beyond that, it's all 4Runner under here, excluding the powertrain. You have a independent front suspension with a steel knuckle. Traditional short long arm, it works, it's tried and true, no complaints. Out back, you have a multi-link rear solid axle, which means you have trailing arms and a panhard bar, or track bar if you will, keeping the live axles centered up in the rear. It's really all there is to it. There is no rear diff lock, there is no front diff lock, but you do have the center torsion diff that you can lock. One more tidbit, payload. This thing is rated for 1,315 pounds of payload. It's slightly modified from the traditional number based on the package we have with this vehicle. So, all that covered, let's get on the road and see how it goes 0 to 60.
All right,
Can we talk about the turbine up front?
All right, Brian.
Hey, you hear that?
Yeah. The one you are.
That clutch fan's gonna suck us down the road.
And the KDSS. Let's see how it puts it all together on the street. Hit it!
Oh, 20, 30.
Sounds good.
40, that sounds great.
That's not fake.
50 and 60 and 8. Well, not 8, sorry, 7.86 seconds.
Well, that's exactly what Lexus advertises on their website, so.
And that's in 100-degree heat. Nailed it.
Good point. And I think that, Brian, and that gets us right to exactly what this car is. 100-degree heat, and it's still the what it said it's going to do because it's unbelievably reliable.
You're telling me Lexus.
You're telling me off camera. Well, because it's a Toyota from the Tahara plant where the Land Cruiser's made, Land Cruiser Prado, the 4Runner. That's all they make there.
Just good stuff.
It is known as not only a good Toyota plant, the best Toyota plant.
Okay. Well,
and you were telling me off camera just a minute ago, most reliable.
Yeah. So Consumer Reports rates this in 2022 as the most reliable SUV on sale in America today. 5 out of 5. And now we know this shares a lot with the 4Runner. That's not quite as reliable, Craig. At a 4.5 out of 5.
Well, all right.
All right.
And so that's the point. And I think the biggest thing is, Brian, on the road, the dynamics. Even though this is shared with the 4Runner, it's not a 4Runner.
No.
It is a little different.
It shares some with the 4Runner.
It's more Land Cruiser Prado than it is a 4Runner, because it's a little longer.
Right.
But the biggest thing is we fixed the 4Runner problems, and what are those?
That is the 4-liter V6 with the ancient 5-speed automatic. This has the V8, as we mentioned in the shop, with the 6-speed, and it works. The gearing does not need to be swapped off the showroom floor, and you can lock it on 75 or 80 on the highway, on Texas highways, and it's in overdrive the entire time.
Right, it's not gear hunting.
It's not dropping 2 gears to maintain speed.
Yeah.
It just works. And that's probably my favorite part of this experience is that, yes, it's not a rocket ship, but man, it's making no apologies, and it is quiet and supple and smooth while being 4Runner capable.
And I think a lot of it's the KDSS. I think, or some of it anyway.
Some of it for sure, yeah.
Some of the less wallowy, versus the TRD Pro didn't have that, so it's a little unfair. But if you look at that previous review, it was a little wallowy on the highway.
Very.
Whereas this
no, it was very wallowy on the highway.
This is the KDSS, and it's a little more firm on the highway.
It's behaved. But here's the deal. When you get in the dirt, which we're going to get to in a minute on the hill test, it's not giving anything up that I can tell.
Right, and I think that's the thing. This is refined on the highway, and I took it on some dirt roads.
You took it on a lot of dirt roads.
I did a little Texas overlanding route, and it was probably 150 miles on dirt.
Okay, and that's a lot, by the way.
And it handled it great.
And your wife wasn't even complaining.
She loved it because I think then we also got on the highway, and there's no rattles
at all.
There's just nothing. Everything is so solid in here. Because I think what Lexus has done, or Toyota has done, is, of course, it's been out for a while and haven't updated it much, but it's okay.
It's changed a lot, yeah.
It reminds me of the old Land Rover Discovery 2. As a kid, I thought that thing looked so cool. It looked safari adventure-y. Lexus is like, or Toyota's like, we can do that, but we can make it reliable, and that's what they do.
Look, they've Lexified it for sure. They've taken the idea, I think, or it feels like that, because you still have a live axle in the rear.
Yes.
But you have IFS up front, so the road manners are not compromised.
No.
You know, we've driven a lot of things with a SIG axle in the rear, and you feel it.
Yeah. You feel a little bit of this, but barely.
But you don't. And I'm going to compare this to the Defender. This feels a little more truckish than the Defender does because it doesn't have independent rear.
Yeah, and that's a unibody.
It actually has some character there.
Yeah.
So.
All right, Brian, with that, all those off-road chops we're talking about, let's see what it actually does on the hill test.
Let's go.
Because this has got a lot of, it looks good, grilled, will it make it?
Is it going to make it?
We'll see.
Let's go. All right, boys and girls, it's time for the hill test, and let's just be honest. This might be fun, it might be not fun. My only concern is the nose is kind of low, and that's always been the issue with the stair steps right here. So Craig, You're gonna be piloting today.
Yep.
What's your plan of attack?
Plan of attack is no traction control, leave it in 4 high.
Okay, and what are your options, by the way? 2 high,
okay.
4 high?
We have, it's always in 4 high. It's an all-wheel drive system with a Torsen center lock in the middle. I'm not going to hit the center lock button.
I don't think you need it.
I'm just going to leave it in 4 high so it'll figure it out on its own.
Okay.
I'm not going to use 4 low. That's an option. You can leave traction control on, I guess. That's pretty much it.
But you know, being full-time 4-wheel drive, let's leave it traction control off and all the diffs open. Well, the center diff open, the front and rear always open. Let's see what it does.
Let's do it.
It does get loose right here in the middle, so I'm going to kind of explain to the viewers while we're going up. This section right here is loose, as you can tell. It's been chopped up by some other vehicles. And here he comes. The biggest concern is going to be the nose. So bring it up. Let's see what we have here. Okay, not bad. But you have a low nose and side step. Oh, okay. Hang on. Oh, don't roll back, go forward. You got it.
Come on.
Hang on. Don't roll back. Give it the beans. Okay, so this should have been easy, Craig.
We're gonna try 4 low.
Just try the center diff lock.
Oh, okay, let's do that.
Don't mind those guys.
Okay, center diff lock.
Turn to the right a little bit. Come my way. Okay. Wow, didn't see this coming. Before we completely kill that back tire, Craig, let's try 4 low. All right, nice and easy. My way, to the right, to the right. Come on. All right, so back it up nice and easy. I'm gonna watch your nose. Real slow. You good? Okay. A little to the. All right, you're clear now. You can back up. First attempt wasn't brilliant, but let's admit we had a camera in the path trying to get a cool shot. Kind of missed your lineup.
Yeah.
Not fair to the vehicle. Let's try a natural line this time.
Let's do
okay.
it.
All right, so we've got him 4 low and center diff locked, which is everything we have at our disposal. Yes, sir. Pick your line. Your nose is still close. You got it. Ooh, just like that. Ooh. Is it gonna make it? Okay, Craig, I think you should maybe roll back about 3 feet on that skid plate. Glad it has it. Okay, right there.
A little bit.
Give it a little bump. Go, go, go. All right, there it is. Okay, driver's perspective on that.
Driver's perspective is it's got the bones to do it. It's not ours. We're really concerned about tearing it up. Otherwise, we would have sent it a little bit more.
We could have bumped it harder,
the old
yeah.
send it method. Definitely, maybe if you own this, you might want to do a few things like skid plates and a little taller tire. Those would help a lot.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
The Boulevard Cruiser does have a couple compromises, and that is its face, which looks good.
Yep.
But we had to be choosy on the route we took.
Yep.
And you know, a little more ground clearance, or really just tire. I think tire is probably the biggest compromise. So there's that. All right, let's take it back and let's talk about all that and wrap it up.
Let's do it.
Who's it for?
Okay, so in all seriousness, though, all joking aside, well, it's really for soccer moms that go to the mall to do mall crawling.
Yeah.
But in the used market, it really is Overland unicorn because it's good value.
Right.
It's cheaper than the 4Runners out there.
Which is bananas to me. I don't quite understand that.
But you get the V8, and so Look, there's a lot of Overland channels to watch. One of them's here locally, TX Overland. Check them out on YouTube.
Yep.
He's done some cool stuff with
Yeah,
this.
check him out. I would say that my greatest thing that I kept thinking as I was driving it was, one, it's done all the Lexus stuff. It's quiet, it's comfortable. But unlike the RX, it's not really boring to drive. It has like a bunch of character. It's not so car-like that it becomes numb. It has charm while you're driving it. And it is everything that the 4Runner should be mechanically.
Absolutely.
Mechanically. And what I'm saying is that you don't have to re-gear this thing. It's good to go. I'm confident you could put a taller tire on it and not regret it immediately.
Right.
Whereas the 4Runner off the lot is struggling to maintain highway speeds and overdrive. So massive kudos. I love that. I wish this was, at least gearing wise, an option for the 4Runner.
Absolutely. So Brian, subjectively, it's old and outdated.
Yep. Objectively, I like it.
Oh, okay.
I like it a lot.
Well, there you go. Brian, with that, do you have the keys?
Oh yeah.
You see them? Can I see them real quick?
Yeah.
I just want to thank you. Because I know who this car's for, really.
Who?
Me. I'm going to take this to leave. I'll see you.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for watching Texas Truck Channel. We hope you enjoyed that really dumb bit at the end. We'll see you on the next one. Take care.